All of you should be like-minded, sympathetic, loving toward one another, kindly disposed, and humble. Do not return evil for evil or insult for insult. Return a blessing instead. This you have been called to do, that you may receive a blessing as your inheritance. The Lord has given us food, bread of the finest wheat.
The Lord has given us food, bread of the finest wheat.
Honey from the rock to our heart's content.
Bread of the finest wheat.
Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
The Lord has given us food, bread of the finest wheat.
Do not return evil for evil or insult for insult. I'm willing to bet, or at least I'm pretty positive, that none of us here are strangers to evil and to insult. We have all been insulted before, and we have all seen or experienced evil in some way, shape, or form, whether it be through social media, in the workplace with our coworkers, maybe at school with our classmates, or maybe even at home with our family, or maybe in just what we hear about what's going on in today's world through the news. The question is, how do we respond to it? Well, we can respond in many ways. We can respond with anger or sadness, or we can respond with indifference. When someone insults us, we naturally want to defend ourselves and strike back, or we can let what someone says or does get us down. When we hear about all the violence going on in the world, or witness the suffering of others, we can ignore it and say to ourselves, why should I care? What concern is this to me? But still, how does God want us to respond? How are we supposed to respond? This reading contains the words of St. Peter as he continues to preach the gospel of Christ, which tells us that we are to respond with love. We are called to respond with love in every situation and circumstance. But why, though, are we called to respond with love, especially when it is so difficult? I am pretty sure all of you know the saying, an eye for an eye, or a tooth for a tooth. But first, we must understand that if we really took an eye for an eye, then none of us would be able to see. The whole world would lose its sight and its vision. We must also understand that hurt people tend to hurt other people. Returning evil for evil only leads to an endless cycle of hostility, despair, and insensitivity. But St. Peter lets us know that we have the freedom to respond in a way that breaks this cycle. Now, of course, how we respond specifically will change depending on the circumstance that we are in. When we encounter a difficult situation, different emotions and feelings are going to rise up in us, and that's okay. However, those emotions and those feelings should not keep us from responding in a loving way. We do not have to be controlled by them. So next time we hear of another suffering, let us not be indifferent, but respond in a loving way by perhaps praying for them or offering our help. When we suffer injustice at the hands of another, let us not react mindlessly, but thoughtfully respond, perhaps in an effort to understand why they are acting this way. Perhaps they are acting this way as a result of their own woundedness, and if we just react with our emotions without thinking, will we be contributing to their wound and making it worse, perhaps even wounding ourselves in the process? Or can we respond in a way that will foster healing and goodwill? As St. Peter says, not everyone has the same Christian mentality of striving to always respond with love, which makes it very difficult. But still, it should not stop us from being sympathetic, loving toward one another, disposed to kindness, and humble. Always return a blessing, that we may receive a blessing as our inheritance. And this inheritance is, of course, our salvation.